On January 18, 1952, in the village of Gopinatham, India, a child was born. Born into a primitive life, this child had two options: either become a farmer and live a miserable life, or get involved in illegal activities. He chose the second one. Veerappan began poaching, and by the age of 10, he had already killed his first elephant. Together with his uncle Salvangounder, he sold ivory illegally and made a good income. After growing older, he separated from his uncle and formed his own gang. The most noticeable thing about him was his distinctive mustache, known in India as the Kattai mustache, which was once worn mostly by wealthy landlords. However, Veerappan's land was the jungle of Biligiriranga, an area of 15,000 square kilometers filled with hills, dense trees, elephants and tigers, a terrifying place that he called home. From childhood, he had spent so much time in the forest that he knew every tree, every path, every cave, the behavior of animals, edible plants, and even the placement of rocks by heart. He spent his youth poaching elephants in this forest with his gang. During one of these illegal hunts, a forest officer caught him red-handed, and that officer became the target of Veerappan's bullets. Thus, at age 17, he committed his first murder. Over the years, Veerappan killed more than 2,000 elephants. In his own words, "There are no more tusked elephants left to hunt," so he turned to illegal sandalwood cutting. Sandalwood, a valuable tree used in perfume, woodwork and medicine, was banned from being cut in India. Veerappan gathered villagers from nearby forest villages to cut sandalwood and sold it illegally, sharing much of the money with poor villagers. Because of this generosity, he was seen by locals as a savior and was called the king of the forests. However, he showed no mercy to forest officers who stood in his way. Having killed dozens of officers, Veerappan became one of India's most wanted criminals. The forest department couldn't handle him anymore. They requested help from the police. A joint operation seized 65,000 tons of sandalwood during a raid. Furious, Veerappan declared, "The Prime Minister sleeps on a sandalwood bed, but the poor can't even touch it," and started a rebellion. That same day, he and his gang attacked a police vehicle and killed 6 officers. The incident made national headlines, and the government created a special task force (STF) to capture him. Thus began the manhunt in 1990. Veerappan escaped into the forest he knew best, and the STF achieved no success. The villagers refused to talk about him. Only one officer, Deputy Forest Officer Srinivas, managed to make progress by earning the villagers' trust, even convincing 10 gang members to surrender. Srinivas also frequently met with Veerappan's sister, leading to rumors that eventually reached Veerappan. His sister couldn't bear the shame and took her own life. Furious, Veerappan blamed Srinivas, lured him into the forest under the pretense of negotiation, shot him dead, then decapitated him, carrying his head around for 3 years. After this horrifying murder, the government placed a bounty of 2 million rupees on Veerappan's head and intensified operations. A police officer named Shakil Ahmed led the new mission. When Veerappan's relatives refused to speak, Ahmed ordered a massacre in their village, killing several people and burning homes. Enraged, Veerappan plotted revenge, setting up an ambush along a road where Ahmed's car would pass. As the car approached, the road was blocked with rocks, and Veerappan opened fire, killing the officer instantly. Later, Commissioner Gopal Krishnan took over. He too tortured villagers for information, and Veerappan decided to punish him. Through his informants, he hung a poster in the village square reading, "Gopal Krishnan, you have no courage to face me. If you are not the son of another man, come and meet me." Enraged, Krishnan took two police vehicles and headed to the meeting spot, but Veerappan had planted explosives on the road. The explosion, known as the Palar Blast, killed 22 security personnel. The manhunt that began in 1990 continued for 14 years, claiming hundreds of lives. Many of Veerappan's gang members and even their families, women and children, were imprisoned and tortured. To rescue them, Veerappan planned an act that would shock all of India. On the night of June 30, 2000, Veerappan kidnapped Rajkumar, one of India's most beloved film stars known as the Emperor of Actors. Chaos erupted across the country. Protests, riots and public outcry. Veerappan demanded 300 million rupees and the release of his gang members' families. Negotiations lasted 108 days, after which Rajkumar was released unharmed. 2 years later, Veerappan kidnapped former Agriculture Minister Nagappa, but when his demands weren't met, he executed him. By 2004, after 14 years of pursuit, Veerappan was old and worn out. He was 52 years old, nearly blind from cataracts, and unable to move easily through the forest. He wanted to escape to Sri Lanka and live a quiet life. He arranged a meeting with someone who promised to help him flee, but that person was an undercover police officer. Veerappan left his familiar forest and boarded an ambulance, unaware it was a trap. When the ambulance lights flashed, the police opened fire with machine guns, killing everyone inside. Veerappan died instantly from a bullet to the head. To some, he was a ruthless terrorist. To others, a hero of the poor.